Okay, hello, this is John Davis, Action Coach. I'm here with Angelica White of ZIPPYAR. She's got a very interesting company. One, I think it's leveraging some emerging technologies. And one I actually got made fun of for trying to push about 10 years ago. And now it's come back. So I guess, Angelica, I'll just, welcome. And if you could introduce yourself and your company and what you do, that would be great.
Yes, thanks so much for the opportunity. It's so exciting for me to be able to share of this new media channel that I'm creating. ZIPPYAR was an idea born in 2013. At that time, if you remember your experience, it was for watching a video. You would hop from site to site to land on a page so you could click and watch the video. And I was like, I want somehow just to scan, a code and watch that content. And I perceived the video to become a major mainstream for engaging consumers because it has the power of evoking an emotional reaction.
Absolutely.
So that's how I start, in 2014 filed for the patent. I saw there was a opportunity. People were all going towards AR, and I thought there is still opportunity for leveraging code for the direct streaming of videos from products. So that's what I did. And I envisioned the personalization of products with videos. All right. So I was thinking, I carry so many videos on my phone. Why not having those attached to the things that I treasure? So that's right. Start with the gift giving. And then moved on like greeting cards as well. You write something, but you want to send a live expression video. How could I do that in sustainable ways? And then the pharmaceutical is one industry that I'm really excited because it's the ability to provide prescription instructions, personalized prescription instructions in video in a way that is more easy understood by people, right? So
right.
It's really exciting. So now there is a word being used for merging the physical and digital, is phygital, all right? But the idea was born before people could realize that, and it's really exciting.
So what I saw, and like I said, about 10 years ago, in my prior life, I was trying to leverage QR codes, and I think you do a fair amount with QR codes. And what you do is you put the QR code on different products and in different labeling so people can get more information when they get the product, either more information or a different type of experience, right? Mm-hmm. By embedding video in packaging and marketing. Is that a good way to summarize it?
Let me explain how different we are doing. Because when we are doing the direct to streaming, and first, ZIPPYAR is more than QR code. Right now, we are leveraging AI, and it is the use of code to allow the direct recording, streaming, and that's happened from the product to the cloud and directly to the mobile device media player. We bypass the browser for privacy reasons. Okay, so that's why we are doing, and the ability of targeting product unit with unique video message. What has been done before, and technology at the time would not allow us to accomplish what we are doing today. But in the past was based on the product category, and that you could just stream, connect with a website for streaming a video, a link.
Right.
All right. But now, technology just allow us to, at scale, to attach, a unique video message to a product unit. So even though, let me give an example, you may have taken the same kind of over-the-counter medication, but your unique personalized prescription instructions, can be associated to that product.
Right.
Amoxicillin, for example, right? So this is the difference for ZIPPYAR.
And there's a lot of technology behind it. The QR code, I think, is something everybody understands, but it sounds like what you're saying is there's a lot more technology for personalization and engagement.
Exactly. We are at the intersect of several technologies, including code.
Right.
One thing that is important when I started ZIPPYAR was my commitment. I want to do something that allowed the streaming of videos from products without impacting packaging recycling ability. That was my goal. We need to do that, without creating more damage to our environment. So
Right.
my commitment has been create a technology that is good for both people and our environment.
What I love about what you do is it hits on several key trends for us as consumers, right? So you talked about recycling and environmental concerns. It hits on our behaviors as consumers, and just look at social media. Video is what gets seen, and also it leverages the fact that the cost of bandwidth, digital, 10, 15 years ago, you weren't downloading large files because of the cost for the device.
Exactly.
Now the cost has gone down. So, and the widespread use of Wi-Fi and things of that nature, it hits on several different trends to create a business out of it and a different experience, which is cool.
Please allow to add something. Another trend was that I identified that privacy was a growing concern.
Okay.
At that time, people were just thinking, oh no, people will be okay to just, allow brands to do whatever they want. They say, no, you got to perceive that there is a growing trend here that consumers start to become aware how much they have, lost of their privacy. And I saw that from the beginning. So one of the ways that I did that was really protecting all the communication that it goes from the cloud are encrypted and we don't store anything in a mobile device. We provide for the first time the ability for password protecting a video. All right, so those were some of the things that I envision going against the trend because, and another one, it is giving brands an option for streaming content that does not rely on social media. Before it becomes so evident the side effect, that happens when you send people to social media and the exposure to adversarial contents, all right? So,
That's a great point.
Yeah, so it's really, it's all coming to the right time because now brands have the chance. We don't stream any ads from the direct streaming of videos, and it's only brands content. All right, so this is why I have scan, watch, experience, and engage. So
it hits mass customization, and then even the taking a brand experience in this Amazon world, this delivery world, right, where people are buying without a storefront. It's one more way to bring the store and the business's personality with the product. So yeah, there's a lot of cool things there. So you mentioned healthcare, which makes sense on the prescription side. What are some of your best customers or target audiences, for your product and service?
Well, we mentioned the healthcare, the ability for brands, pharmaceutical companies to stream their digital health education videos and from their products or printed media. When you think of what happened in the COVID-19, that many of those pharmaceutical companies, sales reps, lost access to the healthcare providers to introduce new treatments. And if you cannot do that, they cannot recommend the use, right? So I'm giving an opportunity for that information to be available from products or printed medias. And so, yes, and then there is the prescription instructions in videos, and that's particularly important as pharmaceuticals start to deploy more personalized and precision treatments, because those are indeed one of a kind, all right, for individuals. And it requires a really timely feedback on the treatment so they can adjust the formulation. For CPG is also exciting because when you think that we can create a greater ROI on the video advertising, all right? And so advertising companies are always asked to provide a greater show ROI, So the fact that you can leverage brands' own products for the streaming of their ads, and we have a platform for engagement, that I can trigger to new purchase So this is also exciting.
So marketing companies, advertising companies are folks that you would like to meet with and that you think could really leverage what you do. Is that
Exactly.
right? Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Are there any types of products or services or industries that, the trades or manufacturers or restaurants, what are there any specific vertical industries of interest to you that you think can really leverage it?
Yeah,
Or
the
good ones,
yeah, the vertical that we are targeting is the pharmaceutical, as I said,
right?
the CPG, for advertising and marketing, digital marketing, and retail product personalization. Anyone that creates a product that requires provide instructions in videos, now that information can be available direct from the product. All right.
Okay. Technology
And
products. I'm
yeah.
assuming high-end products,
Oh
premium
yes.
brand products.
Let me share about ZAR Image. Is our proprietary AI that is allowing the encode of our technology without the use of a QR code. So it provides a more aesthetically pleasant presentation packaging that is particularly, appealing to luxury brands. So you're able of attaching a digital content without the use of barcode or QR code.
Okay. Are there, the last few years have been a little weird, as we all know, between just so many different things. Are there any changes that you've made to your business in the last 2 or 3 years as a result of the pandemic, its recovery, the financial issues, supply chain? How has that all affected your business, and what have you done differently because of it?
We were not particularly affected by, because we were already operating 100%
Right.
remote. Right. As a matter of fact, we benefit because it's trust all the digital innovation in healthcare, opening new opportunities. So that was very positive for us.
Did you do something when that happened? Did you change anything about your marketing or your maybe not your operations, but did you what did you do different as that changed?
Well, for me, it was just capitalizing as more people were using digital health, and in the healthcare, open to opportunity, calling doctors online to see the value of also enabling use the video, personalized. So that opened an opportunity for me to further ZIPPYAR apply to the healthcare segment industry. So
Okay.
as per financial constraints, we've been operating bootstrap. So that's not new. We had to manage the resource really well. Okay. So I don't think the COVID particularly impact us as much as more opening more opportunity to share the value of, innovating through digital.
He's done something there about bootstrapping and growth. And I think that's something that some people don't realize until they're in it, is if you're bootstrapping and, so you're kind of generating the funds as you go and you get rapid growth, sometimes you get in an odd situation where you're growing, which means you need to find more, you have to generate funding at the same time. It can actually, a rapid growth can actually be a challenge for somebody who's bootstrapping. That's my perspective. I don't know if that fits your experience or not, but
that's true. That's true. Some of the challenges, yes, you do want to raise funding and you need to be wise. The challenge that I face right now is ZIPPYAR right now has a granted trademark and 5 pending utility patents with USPTO.
right.
So we have achieved a very high, valuation, and that's become hard to get, to the level of early stage funding. So you need to figure out how you can scale and get the funds necessary to organically keep growing, so it's tricky, it's very tricky how you can go about, but it's all good, it's
Right.
all good.
They're good problems or good challenges to have. Plenty of
Yes.
others for sure.
And,
So
and ultimately, organic is the best way of growing, all right?
absolutely, absolutely, and capturing on those opportunities. Are there any changes or decisions you wish you had done differently, if you could go back in time?
Yes, definitely. It's very important to learn from our mistakes, and there is no way that I would have arrived where I am without making mistakes, you know.
Right.
Failing forward so many times. I have to say some of the greatest challenge, you know, came to trust people. All right. People can be both our greatest assets or our liabilities. All right.
Mhm.
So I had to continue to take risk and push the product forward. You know, as you know, cybersecurity is a major concern, and I build a technology that I want to partner with large, you know, all corporations, and I need to make sure my platform is secure. So I needed to be really on top of what's being built. You know, I became very proficient on the, you know, on the technology. I'm hands-on on the cloud. For those that do not know, I do have 2 engineering degrees in computer hardware, computer software, and the MBA from Gazeta Business School. I think it's not necessary to have an MBA to start a business, but in my case, helped me because I do understand what business expect from, you know, from startups.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm capitalizing everything. And again, I don't think there is one journey like another. There is things that we can learn, but at the end, we need to be willing to continue taking risks, learning from the mistakes and do it better. So I try just to be better and mitigate my risks and understand what kind of risks my potential clients see in partnering with me and trying to mitigate those.
Oh, you've touched on several key things. Relying on people is key, right? You can you can get more done if you've established the right message, the right direction, the right training, prepared them. You can. There's massive power in having a team and other people helping you. The willingness to take risks and fail. Many people are afraid to make a decision, right? And in doing so, you're not going to move forward, and you're not going to learn anything. To your point about falling forward, and the last point was understanding your clients' risks, right? Because when they have the decisions, you know, we talk about purchasing is an emotional decision, even in a B2B context. And there's some emotion there, there's some fear, there's some risk. I'll say there's risk, which creates fear. Understanding that so that you can address that, to reduce it or take it off the table, then they'll be willing to try. So those are tons of good lessons right there in what you said.
And some people are just willing to go for the first opportunity. I'm trying to build a long-term, you know, relationships with those that target companies.
Right.
So this is why I want to understand what's important for them, so I can not only meet but to exceed their expectations.
Okay. What's been your biggest learning? I mean, this may sound a little bit redundant, but what's the most important thing you've learned that you think other business owners need to know?
Well, I would say surround yourself with people that truly, you know, are for you, encouraging you along the way. All right, that's extremely important. And if you come across someone that is not, just quickly, you know, detached. Another thing is like, don't give up your work, you know, until you start to generate revenues for your company. Okay. I was already I took a sabbatical to raise my 2 sons. So I was stay-at-home mom and just trying to re-enter the workforce. And when I was not given the opportunity to decide that I was going to go back, reignite a dream that brought me into this country of starting my own business and creating jobs. So I'm really passionate about that. So yes, don't give up your employment until you start to generate revenue. Surround yourself with the right people and believe in yourself. I have to say, I agree with Sarah Blake when she said at least in a lifetime, anyone had at least $1 million idea, but they were made to believe was nothing,
Yep.
And
that's a good
I
point.
am here to pave the way to enable many more to benefit economically from their ideas, because I think that's how we will close the gap, economic gap,
Right.
Empower more people to profit, from their dreams, empowering their families, their communities. So that's something that's really passionate about. And I hope my example will be to inspire others, because if you think, someone told me that I could not defend my patents, and I'm applying and doing that for over 7 years, acting as a pro se. I didn't have money to pay for a patent lawyer. But if I have done, English is not my primary language, I don't have legal degrees. So anyone can do, just applying themselves, learning, being diligent. So I hope, people will believe, have hope, and in pursuing, their dreams, their products. Be wise, who you ask for advice in the beginning, and make sure you protect your ideas, because in this time of data mining, it's so easily for that information to, be assessed by others. So yes, I think
that's good. I like the concept of helping people close the income gap, the wage gap, because you're right. There are people with that maybe don't have all the degrees that still have good ideas that can do things.
exactly.
And they needs the mindset to get in there to get the accomplishment, and they need people to support them, because there's one thing I've learned: there's nothing that prepares anybody to be a business owner other than doing it, because you won't be strong in all aspects. So everybody's going to need some help somewhere, for sure. So are there any opportunities or special offers, or is there anything that you want people to know about right now for your business, and how to connect with you?
Yes, ZIPPYAR is available right now. The app is free for download, and when you download, you have access to free ZIPPYAR code that you can print and attach to your gifts and products for personal use. And if you want to use for your business, please contact me at, you can send an email to sales@zippyar.com. And I would love to empower many small businesses as well. Anyone that is developing a product. And if you have any questions as well, you just follow me on social media, because I'm trying to share what I called dog talk, dog walk, some, information about my journey, raw entrepreneurship, some things that you needed to be aware and protect yourself. So yes, the iOS.
So it's an app? I wasn't aware of that. It's an app?
Yes, there is an app and the API later that it can be embedded by, brands. So
if that works, how this is going to work? I probably did.
Yes. So yes, the iOS app has all the most recent functionality. So go ahead and give it a try and send me feedback. I love to hear, so far it's so exciting for me to see how people are reacting to the, and I also have some products for sale on Amazon carrying ZIPPYAR technology.
Yeah, I don't know if this is going to work. Too bright.
Yeah, no, it is not. Maybe
okay.
So you can share.
So it's very easy for people to try and learn and figure out how to apply it to their products.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. ZIPPYAR, ZIPPYAR.
Fresh life, creating, augmenting relationships, because people are important.
Right. I'll be sure to check it out. So that's great. Well, thank you for the time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for the invitation.
Right.
It's a pleasure.